And just before we get into today's excellent episode where I will be joined by sales expert Moira Barnes, who's going to share with you just how you can sell more authentically and gracefully, I wanted to share with you the details of a brand new masterclass that I'm running in October. And it's ideal for you if you're currently earning between kind of 1 and 2K every single month and you're looking to scale your business in this next quarter. And you are looking to scale your business to 3, 4, 5K every single month. I'm going to share in this masterclass exactly how you can do that. So you can join me for free in this masterclass, which is the pathway to skyrocketing your business. I'm going to share with you the really simple, very implementable strategy that you can use in your business that's going to see you grow really brilliantly, helping you to work with more of your clients. So a couple of things that you'll walk away from this masterclass is that you will have your own pathway to 5K. You will have your implementable steps, so you have complete clarity about what you need to do next. And when you join me live, you will experience the most transformational mindset exercise where I will be supporting you to anchor in your new income goal so that actually it just becomes automatic, that you start to see the opportunities that are all around you that will help you to achieve this income goal. So if this sounds like a bit of you, this is exactly what you need for the next quarter to absolutely scale your business and skyrocket your results. I would love for you to come and join me. All of the details about how you can sign up for free are down below in the show notes. Don't forget to sign up. Now on to today's podcast. Hello and a really warm welcome to this episode of the podcast. And I am absolutely delighted that I am joined by a very special expert, somebody who I specifically sought out because I knew that she had incredible information and ideas for you as a business owner who's looking to scale the business. So let me do the formal part, the introduction, and then we'll talk about our topic today, which is going to be so good. I'm joined today by Moira Barnes, a sales powerhouse with 3 decades of expertise. This is your key to sales triumph. And this is why I'm so excited about Moira being here today, because we are talking about sales. Moira's got a track record of excellence in diverse industries, including retail, hospitality, media, beauty, and motors. She empowers her clients to sell with confidence and strategy, a word that I love. And as a fellow of esteemed sales institutions, she champions ethical practices whilst delivering exceptional results. Moira embraces neurodiversity and tailors her advice and training on sales strategy, confidence, cold calling, sales conversations, frameworks, objection handling, and follow-up techniques. There's so much there for us to dive into. And I just really wanted to set into context why I think this is such an important topic. And I've been in this industry for many years. And one of the biggest challenges that I see facing female business owners and anybody who's looking to scale their business is around how they think and feel, and therefore what they do around selling. And the reality is if you are not selling in your business, you are not growing. So I specifically wanted Moira to come along today because I know that she's got a really unique way of helping business owners like you really come to terms with selling. So Moira, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here, Rachel. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. So let's talk about what do you see as some of the biggest challenges that people have around selling, Moira?
Well, I started my business because I would have conversations with these entrepreneurs. I moved up from London 10 years ago, and I think I've been in the corporate world and maybe been in a corporate bubble. And I moved up to the Northeast and suddenly kept meeting people who ran their own businesses. And it was quite magical, because I thought that's so amazing that people have the courage to start their own business and run their own business, and how fantastic that would be. And then I'd start talking to them and they'd be very, very passionate about what their business was, whether it was a service or it was a product-based business. And then the minute I'd say to them, oh, I'm really interested in that, could I buy that? I'd see that flame of passion almost instantly extinguish. And then they'd start stuttering and they'd offer me, oh, you can have it for free, or oh, I can give you a special offer rate, special rate, mates rates. And it was like, stop, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? So initially I started with people that I'd obviously built a relationship up with and got to know them. And I started helping them and advising them about, you are providing something amazing. And if somebody says, I want to buy it, don't suddenly start putting barriers in their way. So it was that, the fantastic entrepreneurial spirit can take people so far in their businesses when they start their businesses. And obviously, when you do start a business, you rely a lot on friends and family to refer you to people. And that is wonderful. And it's great that they have that confidence in you, that they're happy to do that. But there will come a point, as you say, where you have to start doing the selling yourself, and you have to be confident in what it is that you are selling, and know, as you said, that that's the only way you're going to grow your business, because you can't rely on, you can be very, very good at what you do and you can get lots of referrals, but what if those referrals stop coming one day? You need to have that other route that is you selling your passion, selling your business, and getting people on board. So that's where my journey started in my business myself.
I love that. And I think you're absolutely right. There's a certain momentum that happens at the beginning of a business based on those things that you talked about. But actually, when you start to take some further responsibility with your sales, is that instead of waiting for the sales to happen, you actually become very proactive. And therefore you can, I'm not going to use the word control, because I don't think you can control sales, especially in the uncertain times that we've had over the last several years.
Yeah.
But it's certainly by taking that responsibility that it's your part of your role as a business owner to sell, that actually you can start to drive sales to your business. But I think that actual shift terrifies people, especially if they've been in that moment of, oh, I'm getting sales through, it might just be a trickle, but it's okay. Kind of what happens, what needs to happen from that move of taking responsibility for getting more sales into your business, Moira?
It's that responsibility is really key, and it's really important. Kind of got some tips that I wanted to share and the number one tip is, you've got to believe in what you do, what your service is, or what your product is. I have experienced in the past, kind of in all the different sales roles that I've had in the past, I've always been good at selling until I was selling something that I didn't believe in.
Yeah.
And so because I didn't believe in it, I had a target that I needed to get. So the pressure was on, but people could tell, that I wasn't engaged with the service, the product that I was selling. So it's really important, if you are doing something and you keep coming up against brick walls, you've got to be really honest with yourself and sit back and say, I need to assess this. What is it that I'm doing? Do I believe in what I am doing? Do I believe in what I'm offering? Do I believe in what this product can do for people? And if you don't, then you need to pivot and you need to change, which obviously a lot of people did when lockdown happened. There was lots of pivoting went on at that point. But it's really important you do it, because it's really important for your own mental health, because it can mess your head up massively. So it's really very important that you take the time to review and assess. You should do that anyway throughout your year, your financial year, your business year, and check in with yourself. Do I still believe in what I'm doing? Do I still believe that I'm adding value to people? Because that's, at the end of the day, is what we, as salespeople, we've got to be adding value. We've got to be benefiting our customers at the end of the day. So you've got to be really honest with yourself, and you've got to really believe in what it is that you do. I can't emphasize that enough.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's that alignment, isn't it, to ensure that the thing that you are, and that's what you want to be. You want to be so excited about whatever it is, whether it's like your free resource that's going to help you grow an audience, or if it's actually a paid thing. You want to be so excited that actually any objections that you have, any resistance you have to selling, actually diminish because you're so keen to get this thing out there.
Yeah.
So how do people, how do they connect with that kind of energy, Moira? Like really having that solid belief that the thing that they've got is amazing.
Ask your customers. So you need to ask your current customers, if you've been in business. So as I say, if you've started your business and it's been going along on referrals, well, those referrals will come about for a reason, haven't they? You obviously are good at what you do. So go back to those customers and capture that enthusiasm. Why have you referred me to, Johnny down the road, and you want their real voice. And that is very empowering if you hear it in that person's real voice. I've just worked with somebody a year ago in the run up to him launching his business, and he's just celebrated his first anniversary. And we had a conversation with him, and he just said, I can't believe where I am. I'm so further ahead than I ever imagined I would be. And that to me was like, oh, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I couldn't have worded it better. So hearing it from the horse's mouth is really powerful. So collect that, after every engagement with a customer, do you have a process where you go back and capture some feedback from them? It's really great to have it when they are still warm. So they've still worked with you, or they've just bought your product, or they've been using your product for 3 months. And so they will have seen some results from that product. So capturing that is really, really important. And it can be as simple as picking the phone up, which I know is a very controversial subject in 2023, picking the phone up and speaking to people. But that, how lovely to just pick the phone up. You're not selling to that person. You just say, I just want to, check in with you. How's it going? What's happening? And that's what happened with my client. He was just like, oh my God, it's just been amazing, Moira. And that was just priceless. So,
and I think even from the expert on the other side of things, to be part of your customer journey for so long, but sometimes the results that you've been working to achieve together come after the work that you've done together has come to an end, because it's not a magic bullet. It is something that takes time, and you've got to have that kind of momentum built behind it. So to be able to speak to them and hear how impactful your service has been to them, as I said, really empowering. And what I find is when I speak to clients, if we start working together on my mastermind momentum, one of the first things I get them to do is actually review everybody they've worked with in the last 12 months, everybody they've had a sales conversation with in the last 12 months. And I actually get them to go and make that contact with them in a really genuine way. And I said, if you think about all the effort it's taken you to actually get them to either get onto a sales call or to have a conversation with you, and very few people, in my experience, actually ever follow up. Like the people that I've worked with, the people that I've invested with, the people that have been on sales calls and said, not just yet, very few people follow up. And that human touch, especially now, I think we all are craving to be seen and heard as an individual. And there is I don't really like the term, but there is so much money left on the table when you don't do that review and follow up. So I think that's such a valuable tip for anybody here is, think about those people that you've worked with in the last 6 to 12 months and actually, as Moira says, pick the phone up, have a conversation with them. You've worked with these people. You've got an existing relationship. It's not cold calling. It's very genuine outreach as well. And do you often find that leads to further referrals or additional work then, Moira?
Well, yeah, because it reminds the customer, you're having that conversation with the customer. There's 2 objectives for you having that conversation. Is you do genuinely want to find out, what the work, as you say, a review of your work, has it worked? Is it going well? So for your tapping into that authenticity that we talked about and that reviewing, am I doing what I should be doing? if you get that positive feedback from people, then that's going to fuel you and make you feel that, yes, I am doing the right thing, and you'll go out and you'll make more sales. But the fact that you've had that contact with that person, it will remind them that you exist. And it might be that they'll say, oh, do you know, and part of that conversation you can add in that, is there anybody else that you think I should be speaking to, or anyone else that I could help? You can add that in if you want to, but if that's too much, then it's just that you've had that contact with them and they're going to ask, they'll tell people about the work that you've been doing with them. And they will also possibly, so for example, the wonderful Amy Purdy that did all my branding for me when I started my business, we have regular check-ins. They're not, timetabled. It's just, we'll catch up, we'll see each other, we'll catch up. And there is always like, oh my goodness, how many times have you rung somebody up and they've gone, oh my goodness, I was just thinking about you. And oh, it's so spooky that you called me. And it's the same in business. So, Amy will get in touch with me, or I'll see Amy at a networking event and I'll say, oh gosh, Amy, I've got a flyer that I really need help designing. Would you do it for me? And so, that's a bit of incremental revenue that goes down that route. So that is the same. This conversation is a very soft approach. It's, you're doing it to gain that feedback for yourself, but also it's reminding people that you exist.
Yeah, I love that. I love that, Moira. Now, one of the things that you obviously are big on, and so am I, is strategy. And again, I see people all the time, they're following lots of experts online. They're like, oh, that person's running an offer where everything's 1-1-1. I'm going to do the same. And then it doesn't work out for that person, because actually what they're trying to implement is a tiny piece of somebody's sales strategy. So for you then, what are the sorts of things that people want to be thinking about when they want to become more strategic in their business, when they're looking to scale their business with intention?
Well, I think you've got to be realistic about you've this kind of stepping back and reviewing is really important. I try and do it every month. So have a check-in with myself at the beginning of the month. How did last month go? What went well? That's really important to say what went well. What didn't go so well. We do need to kind of look at that, because we can learn, okay, that didn't go well because I didn't follow up in time with that person. So that review every month is important. If you can't fit in the monthly review, quarterly is really, really important. So make sure that you're still on track. But you need to kind of take that step back and think, right, I want to grow my business. How can I grow my business? I need to look at getting some support because I've only got so many hours in my day. Don't suddenly think I'm going to grow my business. I'm going to double my business in 12 months. If your business is very time specific and you're the only person in your business, you're the only person who can do what you do, because that might not be realistic. So it's being honest with yourself and working out, actually, what can I do? Okay, so maybe I can't do, I can't deliver lots more trainings that I want to do next year, but actually maybe could I put that into an online recording, and that online recording is then available for people to buy and watch and do when they can. So you've got to take that step back and it's all about being really honest with yourself and being very strict on your boundaries and your lifestyle. So there's a reason I started my business, and my business is, I wanted to make a difference to people's lives. I could see I could make that difference. But equally, I left my corporate job 10 years ago because I had a young child at the time. I then had subsequently another child. And I love being a mum and I love spending time with my children. So actually, that's part of the reason I do what I do. And so I structure my business around that. And I'm quite honest with myself when people say, I want to scale my business and I want it to be this, this, and this. I'm quite happy with where my business is at the moment. Yes, it might grow in a few years' time when the children are older, but at the moment, it's important to me to have that time with the children every day after school. And with the summer holidays coming up, I'm taking time off to spend with them. So that honesty is part of being strategic as well, because you need to think long term about how's this going to work in a year's time, how's this going to work in 2 years' time, how can I grow it in a way that's not going to affect my mental health? Because I'm a big advocate of that, is having suffered with mental health problems in the past, because I tried to do everything and I wasn't honest with myself, and I kept that smile on my face. I can do it all. I can do it. And inside I was crumbling. And I'm now really strict with myself that I have to take time for me. I have to be kind to myself, and I have to do things that bring me joy and are important to me. Part of that is helping people with their businesses, but my family and me are more important.
Yeah, well, we are solo business owners. If we are broken, nothing works, does it? So, and again, I think people need to maybe just press pause a little bit and define what does success actually mean to them? What does that look like for them? And I think we can all get we can look at other people and think that's what we want, but actually, is it? Because as individuals, we've got different values. And one of the things that I love getting my clients to do, especially on the mindset side, is see yourself in the future. What does that look like? What's that feel like? And then, if it doesn't feel exciting, if you feel some resistance to that, go again, review that. And really, that for me is the start of the mindset piece. It's like starting to make that feel normal. Like, this is what you're moving towards. This is what you are working in your business to achieve. And when you're in alignment with those things, it comes back to alignment again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's become so like tangible, doesn't it? It's like, oh my gosh, yeah, I can see that actually if I'm achieving this goal in my business, is that this is how it's going to positively impact me and allow me to live this version of my life that really excites me and looks really possible. And when I do that work with my clients, very, very few of my clients actually want to make multi-million pounds. In fact, I don't think the word million has ever occurred, has ever happened. But in the kind of 2, 3, 5 year view that they've got of their business, they, what they want to achieve is really doable and is going to bring them so much joy as well. So it totally, like, if anybody's taking a pause over the summer holidays, like Moira, this is a good piece of work to do, isn't it? To actually set that intention, especially that kind of new energy for September, is kind of set that intention and talk about, what you want your business to look like by the end of the year, in 6 months' time, 12 months' time, and really get clear about that. And also be like understand that is possible for you. Because I think, again, for so many women, because selling is linked to money, that it can feel like it's not available to them. So one of the things I talk about a lot, Moira, is like money mindset. I mean, how much does that come into the work that you do your clients?
To be honest with you, for me, my work is very much about helping people be happy in what they're doing. And there is a monetary value to that. Yes, that is what sales is about. But what is that money going to do to make you happy? Is it going to make you happy? And if it's not going to make you happy, then we need to have a big conversation about what you're doing. So money, I don't often talk about money in my trainings. And in fact, when I started my business 5 years ago, and I worked with Amy, who did all my branding, I can remember one of the first things she said was, after our initial meeting, she says, "Not once did you talk about money." And I was like, oh, right, okay. And sales is definitely about getting money, getting targets, setting yourself targets and achieving those targets. But it's almost, for me, that is the secondary part of it. It's what it will give you that is important, and that happiness or that, stability in your life that it will give you is more important than how many pounds and pennies you've got in the bank account. It is important. Don't get me wrong. It's really important, but it's about what that money gives you is more important.
And when you're working with your clients, if they come up against resistance about being okay, about having a more joyful life and being happier, if they hit that kind of resistance, what are some of the things that you do to help them to get into alignment and that kind of acceptance that they can have a better version of their lives?
I think it's really evolved over the time, because it's been as I've evolved. So I think of myself last summer I really was like, I'm going to, grow. I'm in that growth period. And the children who I put them into summer clubs, which I'm very fortunate that I've been around for my children quite a lot. So that was quite important to me. When I did that big change 10 years ago and left my corporate life, it was very much, I thought initially I wanted to be a stay-at-home mum, which is an amazing thing to do. But very quickly I realized it's such a hard job being a stay-at-home mum, and I needed something else. I needed an outlet. And so that's why I started a business, is because I needed to do something that was for me. And so last summer was the first summer that so my children are still quite young. It was the first summer that I put them in summer clubs. And I think they went into 3 different summer clubs, kind of 3 weeks. And by the end of the summer, they were really unhappy. They didn't enjoy going to these clubs. And by the end of the summer, I felt I'd really missed out on time with them. And so I had that stern talk to myself last year. And I was like, what is it that, I'd taken an office in an office building, shared office building. And I thought that's what I wanted and that's what I needed to grow my business. But it was not in alignment with myself. And so I think I've learned a lot in that last 12 months. And so that is now feeding into a lot more of the conversations that I have with people. I've got to that stage in my business and my age, I think, as well. I've got to that stage where I'm not listening to all the gurus and, buying all the courses and, expecting to make thousands and thousands of pounds. That's not what I'm about. And I'm quite clear about that now. And that's what when people feel that they're out of alignment, they've got to be really clear with what their goals are, and it comes back to happiness. Maybe I should change my name to the happiness coach or something. But it's just so important. It's really important.
But it's fascinating that we are having this conversation about sales. And it's not from the masculine at all, where it's all about, here's the sales strategy, here's how you sell more, here's some calls to action. It's very much coming from a place of feminine energy from you. It's kind of like, what makes you happy? Don't be afraid of setting yourself boundaries. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. Learn from them. Be truthful. And I think you must have said that several times about being truthful. So it is fascinating that for all that you are a sales expert. It's just part of the process, isn't it?
It is. And I think it then starts to come, you resonate with the right people. And so it's that law of attraction, isn't it? Is you'll attract the right people to you because they will be wanting that similar vibe that you're giving off. And I think that is that kind of authenticity that I do talk a lot about is where the sales start. You want people to be attracted to you because of that. So I've been on a panel at a conference once, and there was a male sales trainer that reminded me, who got up and he stood up and he was literally clapping his hands, right, come on everybody, and he did get the energy up, and it was very forthright and woohoo, very typical sales conference. And then I was, I don't think I even got up. I think I sat there and I talked about, be really clear on what the value is you're giving to people. That, I know there is a money transaction that does happen, but you are giving people something of value and they are going to benefit from that. And that for me is the transaction that happens. So yes, there's the money crosses palms, but it's what you're giving people. And one of my tagline is giving, not getting. Is I'm not about getting the money, I'm about giving the service that I offer.
And I think that really resonates with women. One of the first arguments I had with my husband about the business is like, what he was saying, why aren't you going out there and selling? All I hear you talking about is going out there and giving free stuff, like free content, free resources. He says that you need to get out there and sell. I mean, he's no sales expert or anything like that, very successful in his own industry, but not this. And I was like, we're different. Women are different. We don't naturally, some women do, but for the people that I work with, if I was like, here's a sales script, here's exactly what you need to do and say, it wouldn't work for my people. It works for some people, but it doesn't work for my people.
Exactly. Me. Yeah, I actually had a cold call came in the other day. It was really quite funny. And he cut through I stayed on the phone longer than sometimes when I get cold calls. And he was quite pleasant, and he was like, I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I'll get out of you, this, my strange accent, I think he was Australian, my strange accent will get off the phone from you if I could just have a few minutes. And he started talking about, do you have in your team, they're lacking motivation and they're not getting the sales in? And I went, I'm sorry, are you a sales trainer? And he was like, yes. And I said, oh, so am I. And he was like, oh, right, okay. Oh, this is embarrassing. It was just like, he was reading from a script, and I kind of picked up on it straight away. And when I hear that, it does make me smile, and I do have to ask people sometimes when it's, I've got a double glazing person. I've not had one of them for years, rang me last night, and it was just like, sorry, not interested. But because he started it a little bit differently before he went into his script. Yeah, it was quite funny.
And it's a shame, isn't it? Because if he'd almost kept in his introduction kind of tone, he may have got a little bit further into the conversation than into that script. But
But my business, what's quite funny about my business is when I started it, I did my the people I thought I was going to be helping were going to be female business owners. And that was, again, back to my branding, and the way I deliver myself was very much about female orientated. But I actually have a lot of male clients. So it is very much, it's almost a 60-40 split. I have slightly more male clients, because one thing they are different about them is they obviously like my approach because it is different. But for them, they make a decision. They see they've got a problem. I'm not selling and I need help with it. And their customer journey with me is much, much shorter. And they just ring up and they're like, I need help. Can you help me? Great. When can we start? So it is quite funny how I project myself in a way that is to attract women. And I do, and I've got female clients, but then the guys do come in and go, yeah, no, just sort it out. They're quite direct. So it is a different approach.
Yeah, very, very different. So Moira, if you were to summarize for people listening to this podcast, for anybody who has previously felt some resistance or still has some old stories running through them that selling is icky, what can you share that will just help them reframe selling so that they get off this podcast and think, oh my God, I'm going to go and give this a go, because I think Moira's absolutely right here.
It's a really small mindset shift on the dial. And it is that, as we've talked about, getting feedback from the clients that you've already worked with and hearing in their voice how you have benefited them. And you just need to plug into that. I am adding value to people's lives. I am helping them. One of the things, a piece of work that I did a few years ago was, when I die, it sounds a bit grim, what do I want people, when they come to my wake, what do I want people to say about me? And I want people to come to my wake to say, she really helped, she made a difference. By working with Moira, it meant that I was able to retire earlier, or I was able to work less days. I realized I didn't need to work 100 miles an hour. So that is what you just need to do, is think about what is the value that you're giving to people. How are you making a difference to somebody's life, and how are you benefiting them, and be very, very clear about that. And if you can't figure it out yourself, ask your customers. Go away, and that's your task today, is to go and ask your customers, how have I helped you in the past?
Yeah, amazing. I absolutely love that, Moira. So much, so many insights, so many points to reflect back on in this podcast, and I'm sure people are going to find this. It's probably going to be an episode that people want to go back and listen to, because it'll be like, right, that really resonated, right, want to take some action on that. So thank you so much for being here and sharing your expertise. Now, for those people who want even more Moira in their life, how can people stay connected to you, Moira?
They can go to my website, which is very imaginatively named moirabarnes.com. And then if they want a little bit more, there's I've got a freebie, so /ebook. And that is, I talk about thinking of the sales as having a sales chat is actually just having a conversation with somebody. And so I've got a free download that you can have that is Conversations That Convert, and it just takes you through some very simple steps. And again, it's about helping you shift that mindset on the dial to realize that it doesn't need to be scary at all. You are offering value, you're benefiting people, you're there to help.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Moira. Really massively appreciate you being here. Amazing. And just before we finish the podcast, I want to remind everybody who's listening to the podcast that I have a brand new resource out as well, which is going to help you to identify exactly where you need to focus on in your business to get more clients. I'll leave all of the details of Moira's resource and mine down below in the show notes. Go check them out. And let's go out there and add a stack of value to our people. Thanks ever so much. And until next time, keep growing your amazing business. Bye for now.